Okay, I think we are live. Hopefully everything starts coming through here in just a moment. Hope you're all having a good Sunday morning or evening or afternoon, wherever you happen to be. Jelly Duck, glad to have you here. Thanks for saying hi. How you doing? Excuse me. I was going to try to start a few minutes early like I normally do, but this week has been a lot. Um, so a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I went and had our 10-year anniversary, which was great. Had a great time. We were up in Denver for a few days, rented some e-bikes, had a great time, came home, bought e-bikes. Then, and we've ridden them, I don't know, maybe 10 miles since we've had them. With the weather, the kid, that sort of thing. We just haven't had a lot of time. Tuesday, however, we had the kids' therapists come into the house. They come in every Tuesday and Thursday and do like in-home stuff to help him generalize the things that they are talking or that they're teaching him at therapy. So, they were, and while they were here, we're like, hey, let's see if he can get on the back of one of the bikes and use the foot pegs and hold on and ride a little bit, because I think we'd have a good time with that. So, because of my weight and his weight, it would exceed the rating of these bikes. But my wife, like his and her weight, that matched up real well, and they had a great time. So I went and grabbed mine, and I was going to go ride along with them. And we were stopped so he could get resituated on the bike and hold on appropriately. So I was just kind of slouched on the back of the bike, but had my hand on the handlebars. Wasn't thinking about it. My thumb hit the trigger. It shot out from under me, full wheelied out from under me. I hit the ground, hands and knees. And it was probably the most pain I've been in a really, really long time. Managed to hobble my way back over to the bike, get on, e-biked it home, and have been moving slowly since Tuesday. I banged up my knee pretty badly. I'm having a hard time walking. I'm on crutches sort of when I need to. Icing, doing the anti-inflammatory stuff with Tylenol. I can't take ibuprofen because of my kidney disease. So I'm kind of stuck with Tylenol and muscle relaxers to help mitigate some of the pain. So anyway, all of that is to say that I'm moving more slowly this week than I have been for a long time. And so the time kind of got away from me this morning, and that's why I'm starting on time versus a few minutes early like I normally do. Even doing simple things like getting in and out of the shower, way more complicated than it was a week ago. But I'm on the mend. I'm able to walk on it a little bit. I'm still working on some physical therapy type stuff to get the range of motion back. I'm probably 60% of the way there. So yeah, just a dumbass moment that hopefully I will never do again. Just a real crap way to get introduced to my bike. Tore the back seat up a little bit, bent one of the pedal arms, so I got to bend that back out. Just a real crap way to get introduced to the bike, even after putting 5 or 10 miles on it. Just a rough way to go through the week. Let's scroll back up. I missed some people here. We got Tom here, Lemon Zest, Andreas, Jelly Duck, Jason. That Yaks guy, Jason says, hope you're feeling better now. I'm getting there, man. It's a process, and I've been, like I said, doing some physical therapy stuff to help. This is not the first time I've been on crutches. It's not the first time I've had to learn to accommodate a left-sided weakness. It's my left side that's all jacked up. So, just kind of getting through it. Going pretty well. Excuse me. All things considered. I do not know what's going on with my voice this morning. Jan, thank you for donating a membership. Appreciate that. Glenn says, good morning. Glad to have you here. Wondering what part of the country you're in today. Practical IT with Jeremy is here. Glad to have you, man. Excuse me. Jason says, I'm so glad so happy my place has a walk-in shower. Sometimes I wish we had that. I genuinely do wish we had that sometimes. Craig McIntosh says, hi guys, so glad to be back. Cool, glad to have you here, I suppose. Sorry. I thought you were someone else, Craig McIntosh. So please ignore the trepidation there in my voice. Thought you were someone else. So no, glad to have you here, man. I just checked your YouTube page to see, and you're not who I thought you were at first. So no, glad to have you here, Craig. So anyway, all of that is to say it's been a week. It's why I didn't get any content made. It's only been since yesterday. I've trusted myself enough to go up and down stairs at all. And there are 2 steps that go from here like into the house. And so yeah, no, I was hoping to get some content created this week, and I didn't. So hopefully I'll be able to do that in the next couple of days to get some content out for you guys to talk about some of the stuff I've been up to aside from hurting myself. Craig says was out of the game for 8 weeks getting nasal cavity tumor removed. Bro, that sucks. That doesn't sound like any fun at all, man. I hope that went well and that you're recovering. That sounds brutal. But still, self-hosting loads due to your channel. I appreciate that. There's definitely a lot of stuff out there about self-hosting, and I encourage you to watch as much of it as you can by whoever your favorite creators are, because there's just so much good information out there from different creators. Man, I don't know what's going on with my voice. I feel like it sounds off. It sounds like there's something going on, but I don't feel like there's anything going on. No idea. So we'll see how this goes, if I'm being completely honest. And then yesterday, hold on a second. Sorry, I just wanted to see if I could get that to do anything, and I can't. That's really strange. New AI stack is working amazingly. That's awesome. Really glad to hear that. I've tried to host some AI stuff, and I just don't see its usefulness for most things at this point, based on my observations. Self-hosted AI is not quite there for me just yet, but it can still be fun to mess around with. Waiting for the Plex rant, bro. When I first saw that, I was shocked. Like, I was genuinely shocked. I thought it had to have been a joke of some variety. I wonder if it's still on their homepage. Media watch list, sign in. It immediately clicked me over to watch.plex.tv. So anyway, if you're not familiar with what Tom W. there is saying, Plex lifetime license is going to $750. I think starting July. They're bumping it, and like, I know why they're doing it. I think it's pretty obvious why they're doing it. I think a bump that big is a bit much. But it's so that they can have their recurring revenue. Like, if they can sell you a license once for $100, cool. They've made $100. Or if they can charge you $10 a month, then they've made their $100 in the first year. And that just like, I get it. It's for the recurring revenue, whether it's monthly or yearly. And I want to see if I can find, come on, Plex, license cost, plans. Yeah, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Let's close that. So anyway, yeah, no, they're doing this. Go to plans. I thought that's where I was. That's weird. Annual 19. So that's just for the remote Plex Pass. Annual $70, lifetime $250. But yeah, July 1st, they're going to $750. Plex should just remove the lifetime. Would make more sense whether you like it. So I mean, I don't disagree with that, but here's how it's going to work, right? So if you do an annual pass for $70, then it would take you almost 11 full years, 10 years, 11 years, something like that, 10 and a half years to make it make sense, I suppose. based on their new pricing. Like right now, it's $70 versus $250. That's what 3 years, 8 months or something. To make that work, was it 4 years? Just call it 4 years, I suppose. They're looking for the recurring revenue. That's all this is. And if somebody then at that point decides, oh, I'd rather pay $750, then I guess good on them for that. But they're looking for that recurring revenue, which I kind of get from a business standpoint. I don't know what the yearly will be. I don't remember if it says. No, this just all links to this. I wonder if, yeah. And you're not even getting ad-free streaming for Plex On Demand and Plex Live TV across the board. You're not getting that. That blows my mind. Plex is more of a streaming service with a monthly sub. I hear people say that a lot. I just don't enable those features, or I disable those features on my Plex. So I don't see the Plex Live. I don't see the Plex subscription stuff. I don't see any of that. When I built out my dashboard, when I log into a new device or whatever, I just don't include the live feed stuff. Just because I don't care about it. Like, it's not to say that it doesn't sometimes pop up, but it's not nearly, I don't think it's nearly as bad as what a lot of people happen to see. But yeah, no, for them to go from, $250 lifetime to $750, a full 200% increase just blows my mind. And they don't tell you anywhere on here, which I think is a bit much, or maybe not enough. But yeah, they don't say where or how much it's going to be at the new price. Never bought into Plexus. I didn't want the streaming content. Yeah, again, like I wonder. I'm just going to pull open my 0.83. Man. Oh, if I could remember how to get in here. Yeah, so this is the main account on my Plex, and I don't have any of those additional streaming things. This is just my local media and nothing else. I'm sure you could probably add. I don't even see how to add additional stuff. I just disabled it when I made managed server. Yeah, I don't have any of that other stuff that people are always talking about with the streaming and all of that. It's not part of my setup, and I've got a Plex Pass. So apparently all of that can be disabled, and it can just be your local media with nothing else. I just unpin the stuff I don't want, and then I get the experience that I do. Jason says, might be, you can probably remove it. I just feel like you're still paying for it. Cool. So you're paying for, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I get this experience with my Plex Pass. I don't see all of the extra nonsense that everybody always talks about. And I don't even know how to add it back at this point, if I'm completely honest. Scan server library, manage server settings. Maybe it's under settings. I don't know. But yeah, I don't get any of the extra stuff. So yeah, there's live TV and DVR down here. I don't know, man. But anyway, that's just my experience. I'm not trying to say you're not having a different experience. I don't have that experience when I use my Plex server across any of my devices, whether it's PCs or TVs or laptops or phones or tablets or whatever. This is the experience I get. So, they're going to do what they're going to do, and I know a lot of people are jumping ship over to Jellyfin, which I've heard is getting better. But again, don't really have a lot of interest in switching over from Plex since it's working the way I want it to. But yeah, still kind of shocked that they went so egregiously high with their new lifetime plan. Yeah, Jason says it works for you. Cool. It's good to have choices. That's exactly right. That's what I love about self-hosting. The live TV and DVR is one of the main reasons I use Plex. That's cool. And again, it's always good to have options on that kind of stuff. But the Yaks guy got Plex Pass, nixed my broadcast TV subscription. My kids literally don't know what commercials are, right? Like when the wife and I go to, like a brewery or something, or to somebody else's house and the TV is on, I'm so glad we don't have commercials in our own house because of Plex. The commercials are just as bad now as they were 30 years ago. Like there's this stupid commercial or TV commercial formula that somebody decided was the gold standard, and nothing has changed in like 30 years. And it's still as much garbage now as it was then. And I just don't understand that. But yeah, I'm so glad that we don't have commercials in our house for anything. Though there was a thing recently where somebody grabbed TV commercials from like 2000 to 2015 and uploaded them to the Internet Archive, and that was kind of a fun. It's like a 20 gig download. Internet Archive 1000 TV commercials. How much do you utilize IPv6 now? Not at all. I have no use for it. Like I don't have any need for IPv6. And I genuinely don't think most people need IPv6 in their home labs. I could see where an ISP might, just due to the lack of IPv4 addresses that are available. But for the average user, I don't think the average user actually needs to utilize IPv6 for anything. I don't know. I think they've run more ads now than on TV. Yeah, no, there's 100%. Now it's like every 5 minutes there's a commercial break. And it used to be, which I know sounds stupid, it used to be every 8 minutes. On back in the old days, sorry, it'd be like every 8 minutes would be a commercial, and now it's every like 3 to 5 there's a commercial break. So it's hard to even know what's going on most of the time. You can't have an intelligent TV show that's 12 minutes long or something. I'm not Radam Friedel. I'm not going to rethink my IPv6 opinion. I don't have any use for IPv6, and I don't think most people do. Like I've got, even if I had 1,000 devices in my house, I could still use a 10.IP or a 10. IP configuration and have more than enough IP addresses. Going to IPv6 is so overkill for almost everything. I use IPv6 only to fix a stability issue with some of my Matter devices on Home Assistant. I mean, if it works for you, yeah, Fish Frog's exactly right. That the IPv6 that you're saying is from Google, that's external. That is real world IP addresses for whatever your ISP might give you or your web provider might give you. Like that's not anything that hold on. How many IPs on a 10 dot subnet? Yeah, so going with a 10 dot subnet, you could have 4.2 million devices. Yeah, I do check. I have checked, and I use an IPv4. Like, I don't know why you're pushing so hard on this. I don't want to hear any more about it. So I'm gonna give you a little timeout for just 5 minutes, because you're being belligerent about this, and I don't care what your thought is on IPv6. I'm glad you've got something that works for you, but you being this belligerent and pushy about it is completely unnecessary. And unfortunately for you, I'm not in the fucking mood today. So there you go. Yeah. So with a 10 dot subnet, you can have 4.2 million IP addresses. And let's do a 192. Or, even on a standard 192.168, still 65,000 devices that you could run on different subnets on that 192.168. So I guarantee you're not running 65,000 devices in your house. Again, if you have a use for it, great. But telling people that they are wrong is out of line, and I will not tolerate it. Like, I will not put up with your bullshit today, Ramfield, or Ramid Fredel, or whatever your name is. I don't care what your opinion is. So anyway, enough of that. What else? Oh, so yesterday I got a big package delivery from Sysracks. They had reached out to me recently about taking a look at a new rack that I was excited about. That it's supposed to be a soundproof, like 12U rack, and I was like, cool, let's take a look at that. But then I realized what I would really like to have is something bigger than my 27U rack. And they're like, oh, well, we don't have anything bigger than that in the Silent, but we'd still like you to take a look at the Silent. I'm like, well, that's fine, but I need something bigger than this. So they sent me a 12U Silent, or the soundproof, that has like padding on the inside, an extra wall. Like there's using all kinds of different ways to isolate sound away from what's inside versus outside. And it's great in theory, except that it is so massive that I don't know where to put it. Like I literally have nowhere I can put it to do any testing with it. I spent yesterday putting that together, and it was an adventure. It is also climate controlled. It's got 4 fans in it, and a heat sensor. So it can bring air in and it can push air out. It can circulate air very well. In fact, it circulates air better than this. So, whatever. But anyway, I spent yesterday putting that together only to realize that I literally have no place to put it. It is so massive that it won't fit in here. My plan was to stick it under my desk in the other room. It may have to go over here. Like, I don't know where else to put it. So I may have to reconfigure my studio space again just to have a place to put it. And I'm kind of bummed about that because for right now, it just sits in my living room, taking up a big chunk of my living room because I didn't realize how big it was when I agreed to take a look at it. And then further, I didn't think about the additional like 1.5 or 14 inches or whatever it is, that the doors are wide. So when you open it, it extends the depth of the server rack an additional like 3 or 4 feet front and back. So yeah, I've got to figure out what to do with that because it is so massive. Under your desk, isn't that called a space heater? Kinda, right? Yeah, it's man, I'll have to, let me see if I can find it. I'll show you what I got. Sysracks soundproof. Let's see. Let's, yeah. So this is the one that I got. Yeah, it's massive. It's 26 inches wide, 35 inches deep. Comes in 2 boxes. It basically it does, dude. It is so big. Like a standard rack is like 24 inches. Can I make that picture bigger? Not really big enough. So you got the inside that is lined with this egg crate stuff, like all the way around, right? But then there's an air gap. Like this is a wall, and then there's an extra wall. So there's an air gap between the padding and the next wall. And so I'm sure it's very, very quiet if you were to put a loud piece of equipment in it. But I would be concerned about heat as well. Dude, it's so big. Like one of the thoughts that I had for my standing desk in the other part of the house is to just remove one of the legs from under my standing desk and turn it into a leg, and then lose my standing desk functionality entirely, because I don't know how else I can make it fit somewhere. The problem with that is that with my leg being gimped the way it is, it's going to be like another week probably before I can move all of the stuff around that needs to be moved around. They should make an AMS add-on as a filament dryer for 3D printing. It's not a terrible idea. You could just put a little dryer unit, a little warming unit of some kind in there, and probably do it that way if you really wanted to. But anyway, it's a huge beast of a machine, or a rack rather, and I got to figure out where to put it so I can do a review on it and then probably sell it, because I literally have no place for it. And I ended up sending the team a couple of different emails yesterday, kind of in panic mode, because it's so massive. Let me see if I can find. Sorry, I'm trying to find the email. Do this one. I think it's this one. This is the other one that I got. Hold on. I don't remember if I got the 37 or the 24 or the 32. Sorry, there was some back and forth here because I get so many scam emails. Oh, this must not have been 30th. Sorry, I really want to see which one of these I got, because of course it's just that one. Anyway, I got one of these. I don't remember if I got the 27 or the 32. Well, no, the 24 or the 32-inch depth. Sorry, it is deeper than my desk by like 3 inches, and that's even taking into account how far my desk is away from the wall so that it can go up and down. Yeah, it is massive. But I'm excited to get this rack put together. Again, I don't remember if I got the 24-inch depth or the 32-inch depth. I kind of hope it's the 32-inch, but I don't remember. There was an email where I said I want these two. That was that. $32-inch. All right. So it was. I did get this one. The glass front with the 32-inch depth. Yeah, it was. So it ends up being like the doors end up being like 14 inches deep or wide, plus the 32. So yeah, it ends up being like almost 6 feet in depth when you want to open the door on this thing. And I didn't account for that when I was looking at it. And that's super unfortunate. Also, the other issue that I had is that because of the tolerances in their manufacturing, eight, nine screws wouldn't go in. And it's like all in this corner up here in the top, like right up in here. Nine screws between the whole thing, but like 5 in this area just wouldn't go in. So there's nothing holding this together really, other than the exoskeleton that goes on for the additional level of sound dampening. And this is kind of misrepresentative. The padding that I got didn't look like this at all. It didn't look as good. This is for illustrative purposes only, basically. And it's kind of unfortunate. I thought I was getting one thing, kind of got something else. And maybe things changed in their manufacturing process. I don't know. But yesterday was a hell of a day getting this together, only to realize that I've got nowhere to put it because of how big it is. And that's stupid and I hate it. It's not their fault. I just didn't put the full thought into everything that was going on. And so now I've got to figure out how to deal with that. Yeah, not good with the assembling. Yeah, it was super frustrating. Like the rack that I've got behind me, I had a couple of issues with getting the holes line up for the wheels on the bottom. And it probably added another 20 minutes to my time as I grabbed like a hole punch so that I could make the holes bigger, and used a hammer and just made the holes bigger to line up with the threads, because the threads and the holes only sometimes line up on these for some reason. And that was really disappointing. But that was like 2 screws that I had to finagle in the rack behind me. And it was, I think 3 that I finally finagled and 9 that just wouldn't go in. Like I could probably get a tap and die set and re-tap and die, the ones that didn't go. But I don't want to spend another $50 to get this thing to go together. Like I was pretty frustrated by the end of it. Pretty frustrated, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know if you guys are fans of the show Archer, but if you are, there was an episode in one of the later seasons where the character Krieger builds a submarine and then realizes he can't get the submarine where it needs to be because of where he built it and how he built it. And that's kind of how I feel with this sitting in my living room. I feel like Krieger and this is my submarine. And that's super unfortunate. And I just got to figure out where I'm going to put it and how I'm going to get it there. I asked I reached out to Sysrax and I was like, hey, is there another creator in the area that can come pick this up and they can review it? Because I just genuinely don't know where I'm going to put it. I may put it out here under this desk. But that would involve me, again, having to move my desk a few inches that way, I think, in addition to actually moving the mechanical leg that's underneath here to get it to fit. So I don't know. I'll figure something out. It's just super, super frustrating. Jason says, I've heard of issues like that with Sysrax, sadly. Yeah, same. I was like I said, I had the issue with like the 1 or 2 wheels on this, and I was like, stuff happens, but on this one, I was pretty frustrated, like just on the verge of angry about how frustrating it was to get this thing put together. And I'm just hoping that I don't have the same issue with the 37U, because I don't want to, spend 3 or 4 hours building this. Only to then be angry by the end, and not wanting it basically taunting me constantly behind me. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But anyway, that was something else that I worked on this week while dealing with my bum knee being all jacked up. So yeah, that's how my week has gone. First, I busted my knee. Yeah, math is hard. For some time, or sometimes it really is hard for me to take into account additional things that I don't think about, like doors opening. It never occurred to me to take that into consideration. So I'll figure something out, I'm sure. But I got to do it like when the kid's not here. Because one way or the other, the internet's probably going to have to go down, whether I want it to or not. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. In other news, somebody reached out to me recently about this. And I would be interested to see what your guys' thoughts are about this thing called Geek OS. They want to have me cover it in an upcoming live stream. The whole tolerances, that too. But also, they gave me almost all of the dimensions, and I still didn't get it right. So, math is hard for a lot of people, it seems. But I appreciate the clarification, Tom. I genuinely do. So anyway, these guys reached out to me to see about doing a live stream where we dig into this a little bit. So it's Geek OS. I don't know why they spelled it this way. Intelligent storage simplified by AI. Experience the freedom of true data ownership. Geek OS is the intelligent NAS OS that puts your entire digital life at your fingertips. Access, manage, and share your files from any device, your computer, phone, or tablet with intuitive mobile and desktop apps. Your memories and work are no longer tied to a single location. Simplify your digital world with Geek OS. So I find it interesting that they're now throwing AI into this kind of thing. I guess a couple of NAS providers have been doing this for a while, but even their intro paragraph here was written by AI, which I find interesting. Multi-device, sync your data, accessible anywhere. I don't know why that's in quotes. Built on Debian, Linux boasts strong hardware compatibility, simple operation, and seamless multi-device experience. Finn, you having a stroke? I just making sure you're okay. Dive with a Finn. So yeah, I'm not real sure about this, but they reached out to me to see if I'd be interested in covering it. But I don't know. I've been trying to get back in touch with them, and every time I do, their email bounces back to me, and that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But apparently it plays video, does AI photo albums, file management, and that sort of thing, music. So apparently it does all of the things. Oh, kids will do that, Finn. Kids will definitely do that. But I haven't installed this yet because I've just been kind of mulling it over. Apparently it supports Docker. So there's that. So I mean, it looks like they've got an app store with pre-built applications, and you can deploy your own as well. Clarence says, "Good evening. Hope you're all doing splendidly. Well, glad to have you here, Clarence. Thanks so much. Don't think I want AI in my storage device unless contained." Right? No, I get that. I'm intrigued by it, but I don't know. I don't know that I would deploy it for production. I haven't. Obviously, I've spent no time with it other than like looking through their media here. It all looks good on paper. And they do have well, let's go look. It looks like they've got Pro and Plus and free, but you don't get mobile support or remote access on the free. You get two months. So I think this would be a bit of a turnoff for a lot of people. I mean, if you were going to do this, I feel like you could do, what's it called? HexOS? Is that the one that Linus backed? that's just TrueNAS reskinned. Um, but for $90 a year. Oh, okay. Let's see. If you can't see the code, I say no to anything AI related. That's fair point. Yep, Clarence says totally agree. Why is everyone so willing to give LLMs more than just read-only access before making it sure it's bulletproof? Man, I really wish I had an answer for that one, Clarence. I really do. Let's see. GeekOS is a customized Android-based operating system initially developed by the Chinese tech company Geek in 2013. Wow. I didn't realize they had been around quite that long. And that really, that makes it even stranger that the last couple of times I've tried to respond to the email they sent me, it got kicked back saying that the mail was undeliverable. So for them to have been around for 13 years roughly and having email issues like that, like I even hit up their Discord and I got no response there either. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on, but it really seems, as per Google, that's fair enough. I wonder, I'll just look it up. Geek OS. It offers a unified flat UI, customizable launchers, optimized dialer. And are we sure this is the same thing? I think this has got to be, I feel like this has got to be something else. Like the logos are different. I wonder. Let's do a who is on it. Let's see when this domain was registered. January of this year, and they only registered it for a year. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they'd really have to sell me on it. Unless it was like, look, I will do a live stream demonstrating it, or looking into it, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what they want to do with regards to this, because I think this GeekOS that they're talking about here is different than the one that we're looking at now. Yeah, this is it's sus. Yeah, it might be. I'm pretty sure that the GeekOS that Google is referencing when we Google it is different than the GeekOS that we're looking at here for the storage system. Let's try GeekOS storage. Here, this looks more like it. Yeah, when I throw storage on there, AI-driven Linux-based network-attached storage NAS operating system designed for home users and tech enthusiasts. Features built-in local AI for automatic photo document classification, Docker support, and multi-device file syncing. It runs locally, keeping your data or your private data secure. To successfully install and run GeekOS on your home server or mini PC, you have to meet these requirements. It's available in ISO, or you can flash it. One-click Debian deployment via terminal scripts. Accessing the UI once installed, you go to this IP address, or this port rather. Yeah. And honestly, that was, Tom says the website has a tag from Yom Limited Company. And that was one of the things that I think that some people in this arena will have some issue with, good, bad, or indifferent. And that is that it is a Chinese company. So whether you can tell by being from Yom Limited, or I think it was their documentation or their support page. No, there was something. Must have been a different website of theirs that it just threw up something in Chinese about not available or whatever. This isn't support. I don't know anything about Yom Limited either, though. Decentralized cloud gaming and infrastructure network that allows AAA games to be streamed directly to any browser instantly without downloads. Interesting. That's just Yom. I don't know if Yom and Yom Limited are the same. Hey, Nighthawk is here. Glad to have you, man. Everything that Yom Limited seems to kick back to the UK, which I find interesting, unless they licensed there for some reason. That doesn't make any sense to me either. You guys can't see my screen. But when I Google Yom Limited, everything goes back to the UK. It was incorporated in 2021 in the UK. Yeah, and there's not really much in here as far as that's concerned in terms of service, privacy policy. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens, see what they want to do. If they ever get back to me, like I said, I've tried for a few days to get in touch with them and have heard nothing back, which is, it's kind of whatever. So anyway, just another one of those things that popped up on my radar this week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's see. Nighthawks, I just swapped in the motherboard into my TrueNAS server, crossing my finger that it starts up and hopefully doesn't blow up another CPU. Yeah, right. Because that sounds like that's getting pretty tedious to keep losing CPUs. So hopefully this one doesn't do that. Borgstrom says, I hate that we don't really want to use Chinese software because I'm sure there's some really good devs in China, but the state there is just so into everything. Yeah. Yeah, I really hope, or it does kind of suck because I'm sure there are some great devs there, but it seems like I read somewhere, heard somewhere that like developers in China or businesses in China are like part of their job is to collect as much data as they possibly can about everyone all of the time. I don't know if that's true or not. It's something that I picked up online somewhere. But again, I don't know if that's true. Random question for everyone. What's the last self-hosted service where you really thought, wow, that's awesome? Oh, man. That is a good question. What do I have? Prox Cube. Let me... I know I've got a few things that I really enjoy, that I just thought were awesome. Simple as it may be, Vault Warden. I know that's not really a wow, that's awesome kind of thing, but it keeps me from paying someone else to manage my data, and I love that. I've also been getting into N8N a little bit just to give me information and automate a few things. And I'm still pretty fresh on that one. I'm still learning a lot about N8N and how powerful it can be with the right kind of coding. So that one really kind of blows my mind. Pangolin's another great one. I love that you brought up Pangolin. I don't currently use it, but I did for a while. But then I guess I'll deal with that later. Sysrax got back to me, but I will address that later. Pangolin was great. I really dig that reverse proxy. Again, I don't use it, though I did for a while. My mental health got in the way, and I didn't trust myself enough to keep up with the maintenance and updates and that sort of thing, to trust the security on it. So I just switched back to Cloudflare tunnels for everyone, or for everything that I'm remotely accessing. Doccan is another great one. I've got a video about that coming up if I can ever get out here and record it. I've got the script written. I just need to sit down and record it. That one's really been a big game changer for me as well. The ability to have one dashboard for all of the apps that are running across all of my different LXCs and VMs, or almost all of my VMs, is pretty awesome. Being able to manage all of my updates from one dashboard is awesome. Getting notifications for when something needs an update, or when something has gone down, or when something has come back up. All of that is being handled through Dockhand, and I love that. So I'm really glad that Nighthawk and Collins wouldn't shut the hell up about it for a while, because it finally convinced me to take a few hours to switch over from Portainer and Watchtower and Uptime Kuma. Like, all of those are gone for the most part, and now I'm just using Dockhand for everything. I looked at Arcane in a video, but didn't actually ever really use it, so I can't really speak too much of Arcane. So it says Finn says the R stack and image. I still haven't been convinced to switch to image, because my Synology handles all of that for me through Synology Photos, which I know isn't everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. I found a solution that worked for me 6 years ago or something, and just can't imagine going back and switching to something else. It would just be such a pain in my ass to switch from Synology Photos over to something else, and I don't want to have to make the wife mess with it on her end, because she unfortunately is a victim of my self-hosting as well. So yeah, I probably won't ever switch to image. Clarence says that N8N is on his checkout list. Yeah, it's an awesome app, but there's like, let me see if I can find it. Oops. N8N is on 5678. Oops. So with N8N, I've got two different automations that run every morning, one at like 6 in the morning and one at 7 in the morning. And so this one just reads my fresh RSS feed, takes the feed apart and reconfigures it, and then goes through one item at a time on my fresh RSS feed to let me know about any updates and that sort of thing that are available for different apps that I'm monitoring the feeds on for fresh RSS. I don't remember what port that is on. It's on 8080. Oh, geez, I need to clear that out. So, and so the other thing is, it's only over the last 24 hours. Anything that's within the last 24 hours on my RSS feed gets brought into this loop. And then it shoots a message over to me on Discord to be like, hey, here's some things that you can post about to let people know about their apps, or the apps they might be using getting updated. And several people online have thanked me for this process. Right now, I'm also kind of messing with it, doing an auto post for me over on Posties. I'm still dealing with some timing issues on that. But I'm really glad that I did it before I got hurt, because I really haven't been sitting at my desk the last few days. So that way I can keep my social media posts going. There's another one that and Posties is another one that I really like. No, that's not the right. I don't remember what the IP or what the address is for it. But yeah, N8N is one I'm also a pretty big fan of. Whew. Man, I hate it when I did that. I use N8N RSS feeds for my Home Assistant dashboard. Borgstrom said NetBird is one. I haven't used NetBird all that much. I've looked at it a little bit, and it looks pretty good. Thanks for the insights. You're welcome. Almost forgot Komodo for Docker orchestration and management, but after trying Portainer, Dockage, and Arcane over the course of 5 years, Komodo is insanely good. Can only recommend it. And that's just it. Komodo is great for orchestration and management, CI/CD stuff, and that sort of thing. And that's just so overkill for what I need, which is kind of why I switched away from Portainers, because Portainer is very much going business focused and Kubernetes focused and that sort of thing. And it's so much more than I need for what I'm doing. So that's why I decided to go with Dockhand instead of with Komodo or sticking with Portainer. I finally decided to switch out, and hopefully this week I'm going to be able to make that video. I hate going more than a week without making a video. Let's spin up Comfy UI or something like that for some AI image to image generation. I looked at Comfy UI. Oh, thank you so much. My voice is screwed today, and I don't know why. So, right. Weird. Something was plugged to the bottom of the straw till I lifted it. It's fine. Yeah. Maybe some lemon in my tea will help. There's so much that you can do with Comfy UI. Like some of the diagrams I've seen people build for Comfy UI to get the results they're looking for. And I know diagram is not the right word. It's the only word that I know what to call it. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. The Comfy UI is bonkers. Let me see if I can find some images here. Yeah, stuff like this. Oh, good. That's even a big, and even this one is mild. Right. So you got checkpoints. You got like all of these different things that feed into each other. Oh, you can't see my screen. My bad. Yeah. So like even this is very tame. This one is a very tame example of a Comfy UI workflow. Like I've seen some of these that are entire pages of these different things that all have different like LLMs pulled into them to do different things that all eventually like feed into the final output where you save the image. Yeah, it looks like it does look a lot like N8N on steroids. It absolutely does. And it's kind of the same thought process on how one thing can split out and feed two things. They can then feed three things, and then it can all feed back into one thing. Yeah, it does look like a game engine. Yeah. And again, that's kind of a oh, there we go. How big is this one? Let's open this one up. This one looks, no, damn it. That's not what I meant to do. Let's open in a new tab. Yeah. So like, again, so like user image, user prompt, source prompt, and all of the different things they're doing with the image and the prompt and the models and the conditioning and the sample. Like, again, this is, I don't know how people know this stuff. Like just crazy stuff. And it looks like somebody's added Claude code to this. Let's take a look and see, maybe this is going to be kind of more of the same, I think. Yeah. But just the way it all gets split out, and then I don't understand it, man. I genuinely do not understand how all of this works together and eventually spits out some sort of an image. It is so far beyond my comprehension level. But some of the images that people crank out with this stuff is just fascinating to me. But again, not something that I've ever been competent with. I'm barely gaining my competency with N8N. Um, this is some of like the regex kind of stuff that I'm using. This part is for scheduling. Oh no, this is looking for stuff in the last 24 hours. Scheduling is later, but we're splitting out the title and the description and all kinds. Like this is as far as I go, and even this I'd have a lot of help with. Here we're cleaning up the HTML. We're telling Claude what they are and what they're supposed to do. So this is very, 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 very simple compared to what I've seen a lot of people do with these types of workflows. And I had to get Claude to help me with most of this. Forsaken says I don't do Python that well, so N8N still messes me up. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm very much the same way. I don't do coding at all anymore. I used to be a front end guy doing user interface, user experience stuff, but could never get into the back end of things. It was too much, and I know that there's a lot of logic to it, but I just couldn't wrap my brain around how that logic worked. Let's take a look at this one. Open in new tab. Yeah, so again, all kinds of stuff going all over the place. No idea how it works. But there are some really smart people out here doing this stuff. And nothing but respect for that until they start making AI slop, but that's its own separate bucket of worms. So, yeah. New motherboard, HBA CPU, and 2 NVIDIA GPUs, all working. Hell yeah, man. That's amazing. Really glad to hear that that's working for you, Nighthawk. Bob from Wix says I tried Pinocchio instead of Comfy UI. Never heard of that. Let's copy that. Let's look that up. I'm curious. Self-hosted open source video and audio downloader. That is interesting. This looks like sensory overload to me, and it's so bright. How are you not going to have a dark mode? Man, that is... Okay, there isn't enough Tylenol, right? I get that so much. Like, I hate this. They don't have an option for a dark mode. That's dumb. They're kind of all over. Pinocchio makes installing Comfy UI a breeze. Huh. Oh, so it's just kind of a front end to install other things. A one-click playground for running models, AI models. Dude, I don't care. Again, this looks amazing. It genuinely does, but something like that would take probably an hour to render on my 8 gig GPU. Installing the things isn't the hard part. No, yet usually isn't the hard part. You know, it didn't used to be, and now it seems like the more we go through AI and AI related things, the more stuff you have to install to get everything to work. Everything has a dependency, and that dependency has 5 dependencies, and each of them have 3. And if you don't have a full list of everything you need to install, then things get complicated. And one of the issues that I've had repeatedly, especially when dealing with AI stuff, is the developer of the AI platform widget, whatever it happens to be, will be like, here's the 5 steps to install this. And it's like, cool. 3 of those steps have dependencies that you didn't disclose at first. So it's not just those 5 steps. It's getting to each step and then having to go install the dependency for that step before you can move on. And sometimes it's more than that. It's install the dependency and configure it. But if you don't know what that dependency is or how to configure it, then you can't move on to the next step. And that gets really, really frustrating because a lot of the stuff that's out there for AI, they make assumptions that you're running the exact same software and hardware that they're running. And they don't take into consideration that you probably don't have those dependencies running. So they don't include a lot of that dependency installation or the dependencies themselves in their documentation. I'm not saying that's all of the time kind of thing, but a lot of times when I look at AI related things, it's like, here's the 5 steps to install this. And 3 of those steps are things that I don't have the dependencies installed for. Maybe I'm the outlier. I'm willing to accept that maybe I'm the outlier here. But it's very, very frustrating when they're like, install this in 5 steps. And it's like, you really mean 30 from a fresh install, from a fresh base OS. So I wish people would be better at disclosing dependencies from the beginning. Like, make sure you've got these 5 things installed, and then it's only 5 steps. But it's definitely something I ran into recently. I asked Anti-Gravity to set up a custom web UI for Comfy. It took about 20 minutes. Yeah. I refuse to make a playground with AI in my Homelab difficult, so I only have a Llama and Open UI for Docker containers on Linux host with an 8 gig GTX 1060 Ti. Or missing steps. Yeah. Very odd. And that was actually something I ran into recently. Somebody reached out about me installing this thing that they had put together. It was basically, from my understanding, an open web UI alternative, which is whatever. It's nice to have options. But they reached out to me, like, hey, would you want to check this out? And I'm like, cool, I'm on step 3, and there's all of these error messages showing up. Well, did you install this? Was it in your documentation? Oh, I'll fix that. So they fix it, the documentation, and it was like, oh no, I had to install like 2 other things to get it to work. So I'm so not into locally hosted AI at this point. Like I've got a 5090 with 24 gigs it's a mobile. I'll clarify that it is a mobile 5090 with 24 gigs of VRAM, but it's still, even with that, it doesn't compete with Ollama or GPT or even Grok or Claude. When I say Ollama, I mean hosted Ollama. Your locally hosted stuff can't compete with what's out there. And hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. Kid was making some real weird noises that could have kind of gone either way, because he's been a little feisty lately, and I wasn't sure if that was him being feisty or whatever. But everything's fine. So that doesn't sound good. Yeah, no, everything's fine. Just making weird noises. It can, but it's a lot of nerding and fine tuning. That's true. Local is nowhere near what's out there. And if you want to use the API for what's out there, it's an arm and a leg to use it. So I don't really have that problem. Like even with, like, I've got this that runs through probably 20 loops a day that runs through Claude. And then I've also got the Story Radar. That also does something similar. Just posts, like, it looks at other fresh RSS things and then tells me what meets certain criteria and shoots that over to Discord for me. I'm spending like 4 or 5 cents a day on these 2 things. So it's not too bad for what I do, but I can imagine that for other things, APIs can get out of hand. I had an API key or an API service with Twitter, and it was going to cost me like $5 a day for 10 posts or something. So I quit posting to Twitter. I'm not giving any of those people my money. Yeah, herd an owl. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like. You're absolutely right. Local AI is good for things others censor, such as adult fiction. That's fair. When my son does that, I kill his internet, then he stops. Yeah. Usually I don't have to go quite that dramatic. But yeah, I'm glad that he's just in there being a dork. I'm okay with local LLM just for fun. I'm not paying for the big models. Yeah, I think I pay like $25 a month for Claude, and that's for their pro plan plus an API key that I can use for my fresh RSS stuff. Oh, let's see. Don't get me wrong, I do max out my Copilot and Google $10 a month plans. The rest is all local. I don't neither. No, the $200 plans, the big plans, I don't get either. But I'm not smart enough to use, or I'm either not smart enough or I'm not dumb enough. I'm not sure which it is to use AI to the levels that would require a plan of that magnitude. So much can be done 100% local. That's true. I do a lot of research stuff with it, and local's not great about research. ChatGPT Mind as well be my. I talked to. Oh, I gotcha. ChatGPT is when you use the most. I am. The issue that I had with ChatGPT was that it was very much. It would never. Anytime I tried to ask it a question, hey, what are your thoughts on this, or what should I do about that, or whatever. It was always just go for it. That's the smartest thing anybody's ever said. And at least Claude will check me sometimes. Claude would be like, I think that's a bad idea, and here's why. Or hey, don't bother with that. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do. I've had to argue with Claude a little bit because it'll start, like I'll ask it a question to help me troubleshoot something, and I'll tell it like, here's the stuff that I've tried that didn't work, and it will just grab a hold of one of those things and be like, hey, let's look at this. I'm like, dude, I already tried that. It didn't work. Well, let's look at this. But I tried that. It didn't work. Well, let's look at this. And so I'd have to be like, look, we're not looking at that. Like, you got to be real stern with it sometimes, which sounds stupid. But once I can get it to break out of that little for loop or whatever, then I usually get really good results out of it. But every once in a while, it'll get stuck on something, or it will try to go back to something. And I'm like, we're not talking about that right now. We've already established that that's the wrong, attack angle for this or whatever. So anyway, but I've had better luck with Claude, helping me do research, helping me plan things out, helping me come up with ideas. I've had a much better result with Claude than I ever did with GPT. And again, I'm glad that we've got options. Oh, there you go, Finn. Pay for one, but then use the other as well. If the employer's paying for it, don't blame me a bit. Gemini referencing the stuff I shared hours or days ago as I just shared it. Yeah, there's definitely an issue with it understanding time. I have run into that a couple of times with Claude. Like I'll be working on something. It's like, look, I will deal with this in the morning after I get some sleep. And I'll go sleep for, 8 hours and come back and I'm like, cool, let's do this. Well, you should get some sleep first. I did. In fact, I slept pretty well for 8 hours. Like, I'm ready to do this now. Or there was another time I was working on something and I was like, I'll have to do this when I get back. I got to go pick up the kid and I'll do this when I get back. And I'll go pick up the kid and I'll come back. I'm like, cool, let's do this. Well, you have to go pick up your kid first. I did pick up my kid. It's been 3 hours. So I've definitely run into some time issues with AI. Um, and I hope that eventually they get some of that stuff sorted out, where they start putting timestamps or something on there, on both the prompt and the response, just so that the AI can keep track of how long it's been since we last talked about a topic. Because there will be times where it's like, I know I talked to you about this on Wednesday, but I don't remember all of the specifics, and I can't say, hey, go back to Wednesday and tell me about what we found here. I have to be very careful about asking very specific questions to have it go back and find the thing I'm looking for. Use a llama for a backup of my Home Assistant voice, an AI playground. Using my ARC A310, it's slow but fine. Yeah, the ARC A310 is great for transcoding, not so great for AI. You do all of my web search locally now using Playwright and Llama CCP, a custom harness. I had Gemini web chat. Whip up 3 tools in that chain: search, fetch, infer. Search is searching, fetch is Playwright. Interesting. And that's fair, Jason. Not everybody, again, and that's what's kind of cool about the community, is we can all do things differently and still have a good conversation about it. I had custom instructions to ChatGPT so it could have most of the BS it tries to feed. Don't get me wrong, it still argue with it sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you got to argue with it, and that just, I feel silly arguing with a computer. Usually make Claude make a summary of the stuff I've asked it, and then starts a new chat to get rid of the behavior. Here's the thing with Claude. I can ask Claude to reference a conversation or reference other conversations. Here a while back, I opened it up and I was like, hey, do you want to give Claude memory? And it allows it to, if you guys are familiar with OpenClaw and that install process, you actually have to kind of build a personality for it. And it builds what's called a souls.md file, where it kind of keeps building a profile on you and the conversations that you've had with it. And that's kind of what Claude has done with its memory feature. You don't have direct access to it like you would with OpenClaw, obviously, because it's not self-hosted, but Claude has something similar that makes it so it can go back and search through other conversations. So you're not necessarily getting different conversations on each chat. I just like to separate my chats out just for organization purposes for myself. Arguing with AI is the same as yelling at a brick wall. Sometimes it can be, but sometimes I can be like, no, I don't want to talk about this. I want to move on to this other thing. And it'll be like, okay. And then we can move on. But yeah, sometimes it's like, dude, will you just knock it off and listen to what I'm saying, or typing or whatever? I know somebody whose hobby was to see how much he could make it apologize and admit it was wrong, or that it knows nothing. He'd get it to almost tears. That's hilarious. A silicon wall. That's great. But yeah, I'm a big fan, and I know that a lot of people aren't, for ethical reasons or for all kinds of different reasons, not just ethical reasons, but all kinds of different reasons. And I respect that. But my job is tech, and I feel like I need to be able to know what's out there, so that if somebody has a question or a comment or a thought, I can speak at least moderately smartly about. I know that's not the right word because I'm just having a day, man. But it's definitely something that I want to be able to be knowledgeable about, so that when somebody does say something, I can have an idea of what's going on, or I can call BS on it if I need to, But I don't know. I'm a big fan. I don't use image generation. I don't do music generation. I will use image generation sometimes to help me get an idea up so that I can figure out how it might look, but then I don't actually ever use that AI generated image. I create my own based off of what I've seen. I don't like to rely on those memory systems. Let the agent use tools and figure it out. Also, the turn injection to conversation is important on what's sent back to the LLM. Somebody has to be a guinea pig, basically. Yeah. Let's see. What did I miss? With what Bob said about having a friend with a hobby where we just try to get AI to admit that it doesn't know anything, that's an interesting hobby. I can't imagine spending time and possibly money to convince something without a brain that it doesn't know anything. That seems like a really weird hobby to me. But I mean, I guess we've all got hobbies that other people find weird. So I guess more power to them. But no, I think I would like to find a different hobby. Glenn, dude, thank you so much for donating 5 memberships. That was really nice of you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Looks like those are, problem with AI in general is it's designed to give to give people pleasing answers, not always the correct one. And that's true. I agree with that. That's why when I ask Claude to find information about something for me, I make sure that it includes a bibliography. And that has been immensely helpful. If it doesn't have something that it can directly cite, I don't let it include that in its answer. So I always make sure that there's a bibliography that goes along with any research that it does for me, so that I can make sure that I can go back and verify all of that information. Because I don't want it to give me wrong information and then me disseminate incorrect information. I would much rather have the bibliography that I can cross-reference. And that's been a huge help in making sure that I get accurate information. Glenn is taking beer from Golden to California. I haven't been to Golden in a long time. It's been a while. But that makes me think you're driving for Coors today. But that is just me inferring data. But no, definitely thank you for gifting those memberships. Oh, excuse me. Man. Oh, man. So what's everybody else been up to this week? I apologize. I know I'm not very entertaining today. Again, it's not feeling super great. With my autoimmune thing, when I get injured or hurt or don't feel well, my body shuts down quite a bit more for the recovery process than the average person. And I'm not trying to make excuses or whatever. It's just an observation that I've made that my body has to work overtime to get the same amount of results because my immune system is stupid. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on here, I think. Been fighting getting OpenClaw correctly to make calendar entries. Yeah, I hate OpenClaw so much. I would love to be smart enough or dumb enough or whatever it is that I am not to do smart things with stuff like AI or with OpenClaw. I love the idea of OpenClaw. I don't have the right mindset to get it to do the things I want it to do either. Tom's supposed to be driving back to South Texas. That needs a whole network breakdown and rebuild. Would be a good home network for setup for 2.5 gig or 5 gig. I mean, I've been a big fan of Unify for a while. They support both of those. TP-Link, their Omada line does a pretty good job of that as well. And I think TP-Link even their Omada stuff is cheaper than Unify. So that's something you might look at. Oh, you are semi-dedicated to Coors. That makes sense. I used to do delivery for Coors when I was in my early 20s. I was the driver helper, but we were delivering to stores and that sort of thing. We weren't doing the long haul stuff. The pleasure of installing Windows on a new NVMe and reinstalling and set up a ton of OG programs. That doesn't sound too bad. I just recently switched my wife's NVMe, her boot drive, from a 256 gig drive to a 500 gig drive. I wanted to put a 1 terabyte drive in her system, but when I looked up the specs of the 2 drives I was looking at, that I actually physically had in my hands, the 500 gig drive was faster, and she didn't really need a lot of extra space because I've got her like her downloads and her pictures and her music and all of that mapped to a 4 terabyte drive. So she doesn't need a ton of space on her boot drive. But she was running out of space. So I moved her up to a 500 gig drive recently, and that went really well. I was happy about that. Dealing with a sick cat, that sucks, man. That's rough, dude. I hope your kitty gets better. We've had a couple of sick kitties recently, and we lost one a couple of months ago, and then had another one get sick for almost a week. We've got some neighbors down the street. Both of their dogs got sick. So it seems to be going around, and I hate that. I hope your kitty does better. I usually take empty cans to various breweries. Interesting. Huh. I was going to cancel my Hetzner dedicated server, but found that it now costs $140 a month. Oh man, that's a big price bump. That's like a 100% increase if you were to cancel and start it back up. Been troubleshooting my Chromecast with Google TV. Just stopped connecting to Wi-Fi properly, constantly dropping. Interesting. Have you tried a different? I don't know if those connect to 2.5 or the 2.4 or the 5 gig networks anymore. I hope you get that sorted. The place I'm moving to has a single channel fiber with a max of 10 for $120 a month. Holy cow. Like I'm paying about that for 3 here, and I can only go to 8. But I don't have enough gear that supports anything above like 2.5 for it to really matter. So I'm paying for the 3 gig plan, and I'm paying just over $100 a month for that. But I was paying more than that for Comcast Xfinity, whatever it's called, and getting 1 gig down and like a couple hundred megs up. And I hated that so much. Glenn, again, thank you. Have fun with your lunch. Talk to you again here real soon. Oh man, Jason, that sucks. She's that old. That's rough, man. That sucks a lot. I've had a couple of cats that got sick that were that around that age. One was 17 and one was 19, I think. And we lost them months apart. And I'd had them since they were kittens, and that sucks. Man, I really hope you get that sorted. Hetzner's good. I've never actually used Hetzner, but I've heard really good things about him. Christ, internet's expensive in the US compared to Europe. It absolutely is. Yeah, no, it's stupid expensive here because we've really only got like 3 or 4 actual options, and everybody else is a reseller. So yeah, no, it's stupid expensive here because everybody's just reselling off of the trunks, and I hate it. Pay 70 for 300 megs, and that'll be a big jump. Yeah, it will. Yeah, going from 300 megs to up to 10 gigs. Dude, even going from what I had with Xfinity to what I've got with Quantum Fiber, just such a huge difference. Just a huge difference in speed, obviously, but like reliability and consistency, we don't get the random drops. I don't think we've had an outage since I switched like 3 years ago. And for a while on Xfinity, I was getting an outage every day. Every day it would be out for 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes because somebody hit a pole or somebody hit a box somewhere, or somebody hit something, or they're doing maintenance or whatever. And I don't think we've had an outage on Quantum since I got it 3 years ago. And I was one of the first people in my neighborhood to get it when they dropped the fiber lines here. Symmetrical gig for 35 to 100 in Sweden. Bob from Wix says he's paying 60 or 60 pounds a month for 1 gig fiber. That's a great deal. But I guess, 60 pounds, 60 GB PS to USD. It's about $80. About $80. So definitely a much better deal there. And fiber buried is a plus. I agree with that 100%. I only have the Spectrum 1 gig 35 for, yeah. Yeah, Jason, that's basically what I had with Xfinity, and I hated it so much. 10 gigs is about $120 here. Spectrum, yeah. Yeah, Spectrum and Xfinity, and they're like two of the biggest players in the ISP game, and it's brutal. It's brutal the way they've got their stuff split up, and I hate it so much. $80 for 2 gigs isn't too bad. Like I said, I've been with Quantum Fiber for about 3 years, and I could have stuck with the 1 gig plan, but I was like, why? Why would I do that for like an extra $20? I can double my speed or almost triple my speed, I guess, for very, very little more as far as a budget's concerned. Free 1 gig because you work for the ISP. That's the way to do it, man. Do you work customer service or installation? What kind of stuff do you do, Finn? I'd be curious about that. 2 gig plan with T-Mobile is cheaper and faster with anything Spectrum's offering in your area. That's awesome. I hope you're taking advantage of that. Is that a symmetrical 2 gig 910 Jedi? Oh, good. Glad you're doing that. Xfinity is underground here, isn't it? Isn't there? There are boxes like access boxes that that are just in bad spots that people hit periodically. And I think some of it does go overhead. I'm not 100% on that. We were having outages like almost every day, and as soon as fiber got dropped, like some young kid came to my door and was like, "Hey, so we just got fiber in your area. Do you want to talk about it?" And I was like, "I absolutely want to talk about it." Um, so anyway, got signed up. A couple of weeks later, they came and got it installed. It's been amazing since then. Internet was out for 5 weeks. Holy dude, that sucks, man. Jedi says though it does come with CGNAT, and I was required to buy a static IP. I would absolutely pay an extra 20 or $30 a month for a static IP. I just discovered this morning that my homepage that is locked to my IP address, as far as access is concerned, I can't access it, which means they switched my IP address again for some stupid reason. So I got to go log back into Cloudflare and update all of my IPs. I use my own modem and router on Sanity and rarely have issues. Like rarely, yeah. Like some of my neighbors and I would commiserate about when the internet would go down, and it was just such a common thing in this area. I don't know if it was just a bad line or people being crackheads or what, but yeah, we were having a lot of outages, and I got real tired of it. So when I had the opportunity to switch to fiber, I switched almost immediately. Is a static IP a risk if you're into anonymity and privacy thing? I mean, I guess it could be. For Cloudflare, why are you not using tunnels? I am using tunnels, but some of the services that I have set up are only accessible from certain IP addresses. And I don't have a DDNS thing to update what those rules happen to be. I probably need, yeah, that's what Nighthawk is saying there. I need to get that sorted. I need to set up a DDNS app so that it'll automatically update, so that I can access stuff when they change my IP address. I actually did a video on that a while back, but I didn't realize that it would work with Cloudflare tunnels or rules in Cloudflare tunnels. So I'll have to dig into that a little bit. I remember when broadband was a fixed IP, and that was a long time ago. And that's just it. Like Xfinity basically gave me a static IP address with my router. Like I had the same IP address for years on Xfinity. But they don't, or they didn't have that on Quantum when I switch. I need to look back into it because I would pay extra money for a static IP address. Quantum Fiber. I don't know if they even offer that. Phil, sign in. Oh, God damn it. I hate it when it does that. One of the issues I've been having recently with Vault Warden is that sometimes it will only fill in part of my username and password, and I don't understand why. Speed, equipment return, support, outage checker, under static. Nope, no static IP address available yet. The small feature-ish. So this is the thing that Nighthawk just sent over. A small feature-rich and robust Cloudflare DNS DDNS updater. Yeah, I need to figure out how to. And Cloud, yeah, the updater can maintain lists of dedicated IP addresses. These lists can then be referenced in any Cloudflare product that uses the rule change language, such as Cloudflare Web Application Firewall and Cloudflare Rules. We call the lists WAF lists, but their use is not limited to Cloudflare WAF. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that because that would definitely save me some headache if I could get that to work. I'll definitely have to dig into that a little bit. Oh no. I think this might be fine. I'm looking at the domains, and I would hope that click to expand. I would hope that I could use like a wild card in there because I've got several subdomains that are available that are only available on my dedicated IP, and I don't. Luckily, none of it is super important, if I'm honest. But I don't know. I'll have to dig into that a little bit and see if I can get that to work. Static IP has never been free. Hi there, a bit late to the stream. No worries, man. Glad to have you here. Yeah, Jedi, Cloudflare tunnels could absolutely solve your CGNet issues 100%. It's 100%. You don't open ports. There's no port forwarding. You set up a Cloudflare tunnel account, point your domain DNS to them. So the Cloudflare manages your DNS, and then you can just set up a container on your Homelab and have everything run through that. And I love it. Going back to your bike incident, wait till you're older and sneezing too hard throws your back out and puts you in traction. Dude, I've been there. I have slept wrong. I've hurt myself sleeping, so I get it. Like I'm 44 years old for a couple more months. So no, I 100% get it. Like my knee is still twice the size it should be, or probably almost twice the size it should be. It's bruised, it's tight, it's tense, it hurts. So I ice it and I use Tylenol, and I elevate, that sort of thing. So I appreciate you, Nighthawk. Still 8 gigs for $119 a month. It's still not a bad deal, man. Oh, you do use wildcards. Okay, that helps quite a bit. I have CGNet on my 5G internet and I like it. No one can even ping me, right? Yeah, no, CGNet can definitely be good for certain things. And I had to do, I've got ports 80 and 443 open, but only because I had to put my little fiber box into bridge mode so that my Unify setup could manage my network. So yeah, it's done the way we have to configure things to make them work, but at least I managed to get to get it set up. The things we did as kids would kill us now. Dude, like, I will never fully recover from this. And I say that only partially hyperbolically. Like this knee was already damaged from something that happened when I was a kid. So this will take weeks to heal to the best of its ability. And I will probably never fully recover from this because I've already got left-sided weakness from an episode of encephalopathy that I had in 2016. So put a knee out sleeping before, right? Coughed and slipped a disc once. That sucks. I don't need any open ports to use TwinGate. TwinGate's also an awesome option if you want to go that route. I've been using Cloudflare for so long that, like, if TwinGate had been in my life sooner, I probably would have switched to that, or probably would have used that rather than Cloudflare. But I've been using Cloudflare for 15 years in some capacity. Broke my wrist years ago and it still pains me. I believe it, man. This getting old stuff sucks. It is not for the faint-hearted, unfortunately. But I'm doing some light calisthenics and stretching with it. I've been putting weight on it. I've been doing all of this stuff. I can walk around the house on it pretty comfortably, as long as I take my steps deliberately and carefully. But it's going to be a while before I'm back up to my new normal. Whenever that happens, and whatever that happens to be, I don't know. We'll definitely have to see how that goes. Weird. YouTube is being stupid over here. Why are you using cloud service to access your self-hosted stuff? Because I don't have the same level of expertise as their security team does. I don't have the hardware capacity to deal with a DDoS attack the same way that they do. I'm not always on top of my, as far as knowing what kind of security risks are out there. Like, I don't have the same level of intelligence as their security team does, and I don't have the same level of hardware that their teams do. So if they can stand between me and what's out there, and I don't have to open ports, and I don't have to worry as much about my security, still some, but not nearly as much. If I can offload that and let them do it for free, cool, they can man in the middle of me. I don't care. I'm not publishing anything online that is, I'm not doing anything with my self-hosted stuff that would get me into any trouble that I'm not publishing publicly, right? Like, all of the stuff that it runs through Cloudflare is publicly accessible. So if they want to read my blog, cool, let them do that. If they want to read, whatever I publish, I don't care. It's all public information anyway. If I was doing something that was more in the gray area, I would probably go with something that was self-hosted, or I would open ports, or I would do something like that. But I figured they're smarter than me and they have better hardware than I do, so I will let them do all my mitigation for me. And I get reports on what they've done and what they've covered, and I couldn't keep up with it if I had to. It'd be almost a full-time job. Now, that said, that wouldn't be the case for everyone. Yeah, I'm not running state secrets through Cloudflare, right? But the other thing is that the other thing is gone now. I don't remember what I was going to say. You'd never do your own security unless you're an expert, and I am not. I am not. I would much rather let smarter people handle that. But if I was doing something that was a bit more in the gray area, I would probably port forward and set up my own reverse proxy, or I would set up something like Pangolin, so that the server out in the wild on wherever my VPS is, I would let my VPS deal with that kind of stuff. The state secrets are done on Signal. That's pretty funny. but anyway, yeah. So I'm not doing anything secret. I'm not doing anything malicious out there. Like all of my stuff is, oh, that's what I was going to say is, and that might be different for me because, um, like more people will likely access my stuff than will access most of the stuff that you guys are running, because I'm a YouTube personality or influencer or creator or whatever, right? And like, damn it, that's not what I wanted. You know, like this blog has been up for 8 years, almost 8.5 years, since January of 2018. And it's received millions and millions and millions of views over the years. And Cloudflare has always been between it and the internet. That said, I've considered switching this over to a static site with a static site generator. I just haven't done it yet, but I've been kicking around that idea, just because I don't need all of the other stuff that goes into this, right? Like I don't need the comment system that's built in. I don't need the user system that's built in. I don't need a lot of the different features that are built into this. And if I could simplify that even farther, you know, down to a static site, then that might make more sense to do that rather than keeping this on WordPress. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I've always had Cloudflare between my apps and the internet, because they do a really good job of mitigation and obfuscation. Like even if you ping, or if you do a ping or an IP lookup on the IP address for dbtechreviews.com, it's not going to come back to my home's IP address, even though it's on the box behind me here, right? It's gonna show you a Cloudflare IP address. And if you want to DDoS it, you can give it a try, but they will definitely shut it down. All that outside experience for security is free, for the low use Homelab. Yeah. Like I've always, like, I think there was a couple of times I thought about paying for their services, and I did for a couple of months and realized I wasn't really getting my $10 worth out of what I was doing. So I've been back on their free plan forever, and it's been amazing. But again, I understand that not everybody wants to trust a third-party solution, you know, whether it's, you know, TwinGate or Cloudflare or NetBird. You know, some people just want to open, you know, port 443 and put a reverse proxy in place, and that's perfectly fine. You know, why pay for something when you can use it for free? I get that to a certain point, but I also want to make sure that the people who are I want to make sure that the people who are smarter than me are getting paid for the work that they're due. Yeah, some people do like to be 100% DIY, and I get that. But again, sometimes I would rather have the convenience factor of letting somebody else who is smarter than me do it. I switched a while back from WordPress to Ghost. I also self-host everything, but not using any cloud service between myself and the public. And if that works for you, man, that's awesome. I had to do some DDoS stuff, but can do it easily, being mitigated with the right tools and options. That's good. Oh no, what if they intercept my search for how do I make this device work with Home Assistant? Right? Yeah, I don't care if they man in the middle of me and see what I'm searching for. 100% DIY is not wife approved. There's also that. I already pay Cloudflare for my domain, so why not use the other stuff that they have? 100%. I've actually considered switching my domains over there, but I don't know if they support a couple of the extensions that I have. Cloudflare domains. Domains. I want to see. Because I don't know, like, because I've got a couple of Swiss extensions for the .ch, and I don't know if, oh yeah, there we go. Cloudflare cannot be registered, this domain cannot be registered as Cloudflare does not yet support the .ch extension. and I actually use pork bun for most everything. I use pork bun for all but I think 2 of my domains because they also don't support the .ch extension. As soon as they do, I will probably push everything over to whoever gets the .ch extension first, whether it's Cloudflare or pork bun. Cloudflare said they won't bump your price on renewal like some companies do. I hope they stay true to that. I do, because after some of the price raises that we've seen with some stuff lately, I would be surprised if they didn't eventually do something ignorant. And I love Cloudflare, I genuinely do. But they've still got to make their money, and they've still got to pay their people, and they've still got their overhead. Like if they made me pay them $10 a month to use Cloudflare tunnels, I would pay them $10 a month to use Cloudflare tunnels. I've never bought a domain from them, so I don't know what that process is like. Tom says my domain is with Porkbun because of you, and they're great. Like they have plenty of notice on domain renewals. Their renewals are usually very inexpensive. Sometimes you'll buy a domain for $1.67, and then the renewal is like $10. That gives you a year to see if you're going to use your domain name. Is it worth $10 a year to you? If it's not, then cancel it, move on. If it is, then you pay the $10 and you keep doing your thing. But yeah, I've been with Porkbun for several years now, and they've kind of indirectly sponsored some stuff where they've given me a coupon code or something to help help people get cheaper domains, and I've been a big fan of them for a long time. Wonder. Let's try that. And also, I don't like switching registrars. I've done it a few times, and I hate switching registrars. It's such a tedious task of going through and getting the code and replacing the code and giving the code and telling them, it's fine. I'm just really not a fan of switching providers. Interesting. So I'm just checking. I'm supposed to have a package out for delivery here, but FedEx is stupid sometimes. All right, Glenn. Well, thanks for hanging out and chatting while you could. I appreciate you. I created most of my domains from Namecheap to Cloudflare. Yeah, I'm just such a big fan of Cloudflare. How did it get delivered? I'll be damned. I just went with Cloudflare and picked the cheapest non-sale domain. There you go. That's definitely a way to do it. I've been looking for a couple of different domains recently for projects that I want to give a try, and I think I found one that I like. Again, it's for an upcoming project that I want to get into once I'm feeling better. The healing process again takes more out of me than I wish it did, so it slows me down on my ability to get things done, whether it's mentally or physically. And I think that's stupid, and I hate my dumb body sometimes for that kind of stuff. But just got out of ER. I get it. Oh, dude, that sucks, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Hope you're doing better, Jekyll. That the ER sucks. I haven't been there in a couple of years. Hope I don't have to go back for a while. The ER is just one of the worst places. So I hope you feel better soon, Jekyll. All right, guys. I think I have given all I can here. I'm starting to just really, my brain's slowing down on me. Just not feeling great. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me today. Managed to go a couple hours, which is awesome. Super stoked. Managed to go that long. Heart issues. I live in the waiting room man, that sucks, dude. I hope they're able to get you some help, the help that you need. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I gotta go elevate my leg. I gotta take some Tylenol. Thank you to everyone who hung out with for a while today. Really appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I guess it's a 3-day weekend. So enjoy the extra day off. And I will chat with you guys again here real soon. You can also always come join Discord and hang out. We chat in there quite a bit. Would love to have you over there. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys here again real soon. Thanks so much.